Other side of things down. He's found 2 kills now in the second half, but he's 24 kills to the good. But it's the other players here from Heroic activating on this T side to carry them through. I think Dan King's going to invest into the AWP here. He will. So he's actually dropped that AK across. That was saved for his teammates. Plenty of util being purchased on up. Someone grabbed some late on the way out of spawn. And again, predominantly the 3-man B lean from TYLOO on this CT side. It's going to be a deep mid molly from Dan King. Flushes them out of the chicken pit. Normally gives him the chance to pick, but I think that long side smoke from the T's there has dissuaded him. Knowing that there's only 2 players holding this site, you have to be a little bit more passive, and punishing that Heroic heading towards A again. They've done this time and time again. They like the arch side pressure.
Yeah, let's see if Dan King can do anything more with this. Smokes, flashes, everything they've thrown is working perfectly, and pot shots is his best bet.
They have to save. The round's already over.
Yeah.
The round is already over. Some are dead. No kills, no traction. Dan King not able to help contest because he got put behind their smoke wall. That's 14. That's as easy as it looks. Like, that's all it takes. What are you meant to do? Your rotation point is guarded by multiple Ts who just swarm that side of the map. And now, I would be hunting. Holding off on the plant is shush, allowing his teammates here to get into position to start to hunt this one out. We'll be planting open. Tess is clearing library. There's going to be pressure through the arch side from Stown. There's 2 players working through banana. They want to take these guns away, and that would be massive.
This is a huge break point for TYLOO's survivability. They've got 30 seconds now, and an entire force.
They're so passive.
Slowly, methodically, trying to close that gap, and they do confirm the AWP has been spotted in the coffins. It's also indicative that the Heroic hunt is on. Great pop flash, slowly gobbles that one up. White screen for a second longer. Dan King ready and threatening as well. And they're going to have a little poke and a prod. Dan King's been dinked up, got to watch himself now. He's on notice. Holding on to 3 rifles. Nice hold, slowly, lives on, and there you have it. TYLOO, they passed the test.
Okay, well, they're going to be able to drop a gun across here. So the fact that they keep that many players alive is great, considering the circumstances. Things aren't going to be as bleak as they could have been, but you can see the intention there from Heroic. They're unable to pull it off, but regardless, 14 to 11 now. And again, the conversation of this one has completely changed. What's the difference maker going to be? They're going to start playing 3 players over towards the A site. At least TYLOO have been punished too much, but how many steps ahead of Heroic? Do they just go straight over towards B bomb site after they posture for the default of A? It's a different look set up here from TYLOO. 3 players heavy on this mid defense, and that's where we saw early success for them come through.
Seeing an AWP clearing apps as well as a...
It's confidence that they don't play close apps, right?
Yeah, it's an understanding.
Details, yeah, like, you're not doing that normally, by any means.
They just know the fight's unlikely to come against the rifled TYLOO. And so here's your posturing. Doesn't get much more than that. You're spraying them. Clear AK's heard, scopes heard. Util drained. Cadian holds his line. If anyone on short does get pushy. Nick down a little lower than he may have desired. 34 points and health remain.
Still 4 players over towards A here for TYLOO. Got some mid info from that long side, and somebody's pushing. Somebody's pushing.
He wants some more info.
How far is he going to go here?
When he's tucked in close, it's a powerful one to Cadian, and that's exactly what he's done. AWP down, they're heading to B. Will TYLOO have the resources? It's Dan King's AWP, and he's lingering on just the edge of the lurky smoke. Summer. State of limbo, unwilling to commit, not falling for the barrel bait. Dan King restrained and ready. Swallows the flash, misses the shot. Util's a bit shy, and that's the strike. They tried to clear first, he loses his head, and so does the defense. It's up to somebody now, and Refresh is having none of it. Great reactions, and the bodies just keep dropping. TYLOO swatted away like flies as 15 is secured. Only attacker, good luck, have fun.
Great stuff from Heroic. What else are you meant to say about that? The barrel baits for the AWPer specifically, and then after doing the barrel bait and not even taking the bait, they still flash and go. It's the little details there. They were all ready. And
the trade as well. I know we didn't get to see it from his perspective, but like, make no mistake, the second oranges getting that perfect wallbang headshot into Dan King. It's an art. He's done it very quickly there, Tessus, and muscle memory converted. Very important.
Шанс выпадения чисто от рандома. То сейчас придется их покупать. И, кстати, пацаны, напишите в комментариях.
Yeah.
То есть,
I mean,
ас.
after that first half,
Пацаны,
8-7 on the half.
это очень круто, это очень круто, это тоже круто, это круто, это очень круто. Ну и я к этому-то и веду, пацаны, то что очень крутых пушек тут прям...
Three-man leans, which is the traditional setup on the CT side of this map, right? That's what you play, normally three over towards the A side.
After beating them up and securing the bag over on the A side with all of that and conditioning them to play an extra player, they isolate the 2 players on B.
Yeah, it's naughty stuff.
It is, and it could end right now. Peeking over the flames, it's Dan King. Wise to your tricks, Cadian, and a 300-calorie nade down the gullet. Somebody flashed in. Not enough, surely, but he still managed to snap into the head of Tessa, so we've got ourselves a 4v3 established now, and Surprise Down is choosing to opt for the AWP. Had the AK in his sights, but has opted for something different. It will enable him to passively control and get some degree of banana back.
They're throwing out the same arch smokes here, so a library one lands, so does the CT arch, and that has been such a pressure point here, so it draws the attention over towards this A side as they trundle in towards B. Just one man to defend.
Isolating slowly this time. He's going to have to think and communicate quickly. That is exactly what the doctor ordered. 3 on the spray. And he saves them. It could have very well been the final round of the best of 1. Slowly says no.
He's been the quietest out of the TYLOO mob here today, so great for him in a pressure moment to step up with a multi-kill like that. You have to be happy with this. You can see it again in the replay here. Just steps on out, 25 bullets of pain. Brains on down, and they all just get mopped on up. Now, Heroic, they thought they were just going to be able to sail across the finish line here. Have to take a bit of a timeout and just talk this one through. You don't want to fumble in the late stages. You're going to have a few more opportunities to do so. Convert this map, sweep it away, continue forward for the day. We do have 8 more best of ones after this concludes. This is just the first round of the Swiss. In the next, you'll have the winners versus the winners and the losers versus the losers. So one more set of best of ones to come your way today.
And of course, chopping and changing the cast. We are chock-a-block full of talent for the PGL Major Stockholm. Going to be seeing Sadakist and Moses over on this one, I believe.
I'm not sure who's on where, but you're probably right.
Yeah, just because I saw Sado checking out the AC in
that's right,
here.
yes. It is a bit chilly. Out of control, Cadian in the flames. Jumps on down a bit, but gets his own off. Model to hold them at bay. A risk pushing through that smoke. I need to give up an early casualty here. A rally of nades back and forth. Not really doing too much damage whatsoever here, as happy to take their time with this.
Danking could find another opener. First on B now. Deciding to reinforce the A site. That Molly's got his name on it. He could still peek Boiler though, with it up. So desperate not to swallow the flash. He knows Heroic, they're diligent individuals. He will unlikely to get that first frag. So good to see the awareness.
Well, bomb scooped up now. We've just got under 1 minute left on the clock right here. Boiler and top mid is a threatening position for Heroic, but over towards B is where they turn their attention. That's a one-way, and that's a flash.
This is a perfect combo. Slowly pushing in to punish, and little late on the trade. Shush does get it.
They're going again. They're pushing again.
Gap secured though. If Shush even thinks about walking around that corner, he's a dead man. Just like that, somebody collects. The smoke baiting him in, lulling him into the false sense of security. And with 25 seconds left, Chad, Heroic are the ones up the creek. Desperate for a paddle. Oh, Attacker, that's not bad. He throws the smoke deep into the pit to try and evade the Molotov, but still spotted out. Cadian gets the info. It's all about Danking now. Deals with the first up, short time sensitive. He doesn't go down. Oh, he does. They both fall in quick succession, and suddenly Heroic pull it out of nowhere. Summer looking to clutch, and oh my goodness, what was that for an ending? 16 is secured. Heroic pull it across the line. The Danes, though, tested in ways I genuinely did not think they would be.
Yeah, that was, look, I didn't think TYLOO were going to push them that far by any means. The first half was great. It was very slow stuff, but they eventually broke on through. And then moments like that one at the end there, I thought he denied, just enough.
That was it.
I thought he denied the plan, and the round was done and dusted. So they kept us on the edge of our seat for that one right there. But it's good to see TYLOO being that level of competitive. You could frame it the other way. We need to wait and see, right? Yes. The results later today, if Heroic have a game against another Tier 1 opposition and it's close and both teams are looking good, then then it's easier to grade the game. But right now, it's difficult to grade. Is this Heroic playing, you know, subpar? Is it TYLOO playing well? It's difficult to say, but either way, it delivered.
Certainly, yeah, and I mean, I think we are, as you said, going to get answers in that second set, which is, of course, going to be coming up right after this one. I think my question is more based around Heroic. Like,
Okay.
TYLOO did look great individually, some of the clutches, how close those rounds were getting, that gives them credit. They looked switched on, and the fact that they turned what looked like a 7-3 half into an 8-7, you know, like that's showing some resilience where previously it has sometimes been absent.
Well, let's frame it this way. Heroic managed to get 8 rounds on the CT side with only one guy really pulling his weight of Stown, right? So 22 kills for Stown within that first half. A couple of 1v1s could have gone either way, realistically speaking. Everybody else for Heroic in that first half was kind of quiet. It's in the second half where individuals started to wake up. Refresh had moments, Tessus with a couple of multi-kills, right? You're getting Shush involved in the mix, Cadian being a bit more proactive across the map with the calling. So it changed in the second half here. The first half, though, maybe just a slow start, maybe those jitters. And yeah, I think here for Heroic, it is a wait and see. It's a wait and see, you know what I mean? So, yeah, real close right there. Real close right there. Tiniest of margins. It looked like enough, didn't it?
I'm looking at the clock. I'm squinting as best I can.
Yeah. Well, I guess right now for Heroic, well, we've had 2 Danish teams to win today. Heroic and Copenhagen Flames, not Astralis. These low teams haven't got it done, but yeah, that was good.
It was fantastic. And you know what's even more fantastic is now we've got the extra special treat of the panel. It is time for those beautiful, friendly faces to once again fill you in on what you may have missed. If you just tuned in, you just got a whole lot of best of ones to break down over at the panel with Richard Lewis steering the ship.
Yeah, thanks for that. He's nice, isn't he, that Alex? He's a good guy. You got to love him. We are indeed steering the ship, and we've got a slight change as well to the proceedings, because obviously we did have Yanko. We've tagged him out for some reason. I'm not too sure why.
Just taking a rest
Well,
already.
Blair just coming in out of nowhere. I thought you were going to be a weatherman.
Yeah, I mean, Yanko's good at being the weatherman as well, so just kicked him out.
Also, yeah, but we're not even doing any weatherman segments, so we've just kicked him out for no reason, and he's definitely not stood on a box. Anyway,
Absolutely not.
I can't wait to talk about all of the games that we've had, but we're going to start with the one that we sort of opened up with, where we were talking about the Danish derby, because I think that's the shock of the first round to begin with. Now, a shock for some. Me and Duncan were on record, I think, as actually saying in a podcast we recorded before the show, we called this. I think Astralis, I think they're going to limp through, but I think they need to get better over the course of the tournament. And this is actually worrying signs if you're an Astralis fan, because they didn't just lose, they got absolutely battered.
That was quite insane, honestly. Astralis went up 3-0 and then won 3 rounds in the entirety of the game after that 3-0 start. And Copenhagen Flames took me by surprise. I just didn't think they were good enough to inflict that much damage to Astralis. Nowhere to be found, no sensation, no feeling, no intuition in the clutches, late round situations, not well played, missed timings. Copenhagen Flames were better in every department of the game, which is something that still baffles me right now.
Yeah, and obviously, like, look, I spun it for the side of Copenhagen Flames. Like, the tough thing about being the underdog is you don't have the demos to go watch. But I'll tell you what, the downside if you're Astralis is you haven't played with this lineup. This isn't battle tested, actually. Yeah. You've got sort of a mishmash of, like, the newer team, but then you brought the IGL back. You're trying to make it work. I've got to call them out, right? As much as everyone's going to make it like, oh, it's all about Device isn't there and is lucky you're a person with Device. No, you've got Magisk, MVP of a major previously. You have Dupree, guy who's been in that top 20 list a million times. It's your time to step up. It's your time to be the superstar players. These are games against, in theory, lesser opposition. People will never be in Astralis. Like, you're supposed to handle business. As the casters said, this is the only low-ranked team that's actually won the first round, and it's against the team that you want to believe still has the stuff to win a major.
Yeah, I mean, Blair, what did you make of it? Obviously, I saw you watching it with us in the green room.
Yeah, I just want to add on to what Maniac said right there. Like, you look at the veterans over there, you have Glaive, you have Magisk, all these guys. Glaive was looking lost on that T side, and it was so shocking. And you look at the Flames boys, apart from Roy, who is a veteran, but then again, he's never really played at the levels of the Astralis guys. Yes. And you have all these youngsters coming in, they're firing on all cylinders, looking good, they have a game plan, and they're also hitting the shots and looking like they're the veteran team, which should not be the case here.
Yeah, it's it's a shame, but early days. We're going to really find out if they're in trouble or not in the next round, so we'll get to that a little bit later. Spirit Phase was the other game that was going on concurrently. I got to watch a little bit of that myself. I was kind of intrigued to see which phase was going to turn up, as we alluded to at the top of the show. I'll start with you again, Blair. I think Team Spirit looked to be a dangerous opponent, but in reality, FaZe just had a little bit too much in the locker, right?
Here's the thing with Spirit, right? Like, I kind of picked them as my CIS team off the group stage. You know, that one team like a Quantum Bellator Fire who pops
Coming up next, Astralis versus Entropic.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready with another game. Finally, it is time for a second map with Astralis. What do you think, Semler? You feeling all right?
Do we have to lean forward here and say hello, everybody?
Possibly,
How's it going?
yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I'm doing well, Anders. I'm doing well. We're vibing here over in Romania and Bucharest, but we are, of course, casting the Stockholm Major.
Yeah, it's about time. It's really been crazy. I'm glad we're finally underway. Ironed out some of the kinks in the broadcast, and now we're gonna be heading into it. I mean, I really can't wait. Astralis, obviously, I think in terms of pick'ems, most people probably have them in there somewhere. I don't think most people have them 0 and 3.
Well, if you listen to our analyst Maniac, you would have believed that Astralis were just going to come in swinging and knock everybody down in their path.
He
he lied to us yet again. You know, so it didn't go that way at all. Copenhagen Flames. Going into the major, you were kind of saying, okay, that is pretty much the worst matchup for Astralis. They couldn't match up against Heroic right off the bat, but they could match up against Copenhagen Flames. And that Danish v Danish matchup, the underdogs always seem to make it competitive. It turns out that today Copenhagen Flames just swung for the fences and took Astralis out.
Telling you, Copenhagen Flames is the best team in Denmark right now.
Okay, then.
They're wild. Heroic are there too. I mean, I honestly, if Astralis are not going to wake up real early, these are best of one. Obviously, they have to play a best of 3 before they go out, but I don't think you can underestimate Entropic either. So, I mean, best of 1 games are really tough when you're when you're sort of the favorite team in some sense. Because I think Entropic it's not that they have nothing to lose. They obviously want to win. They don't want to go in 2 either. But all the pressure's on Astralis. There's no way around it.
The CIS teams, man, they're killer right now. That is, some may say, the most competitive region we have right now in Counter-Strike. It feels like they're cranking out all the top heavy hitters. And here's the map picks of the Veto, how it goes down. A little bit of a different format, you guys will notice. 2 bans followed by 3, and then Entropic will get to decide. And Anders, this is sick. We get to see Dust 2. I was wondering if we were going to get to see Dust 2 today, and we're going to get it right off the bat, you and me.
Probably kind of good news for Entropic, isn't it? It's one of those maps that, again, you could probably get away with tilting it more towards a bit of a crazy game. I think Astralis ended up playing Overpass in that first match.
They did.
Kind of surprised me a little bit.
They got blown out on it. Yeah. But they didn't put Ancient in. That was a little bit of debate whether or not that would happen for Astralis. We saw that Astralis, that was their last veto there. Yeah. And then what's interesting is that Entropic don't decide to go for the Overpass, considering how they saw, you know, just how weak Astralis were on the map. If it was still in the pool, you could think, well, maybe we'll just pick that too and just smash them as well. But we're going to have a little bit of a mystery going into it because Dust 2, neither of these teams we have info going into the major run.
No, I think it's going to be very hard to predict what the outcome will be here. I mean, still probably favorite, but on the Astralis side, a little bit of a head-to-head here. I mean, Dupree, this is making it seem like it could be sort of a little bit even, maybe. I think Dupree is not just a world-class player, but especially at these big tournaments. He's someone, Glaive, there are some players here that you're expecting an enormous amount out of. So.
Sure, and it's a point that you know, our analyst Thorne keeps mentioning as well, in that Dupree needs to step up now, right? Without Device on the roster, nobody's really talking about Device much when it comes to Astralis. He's on NIP, they're already in the next stage. But, you know, on this roster for Astralis, now you need to be looking at Dupree. You need to be looking at Megas to carry the weight. And those guys, they are star-level material. They are the heavy hitters on the team, and they can do it. We didn't see that against Copenhagen Flames earlier today. But now Dupree, I mean, the weight has got to be on your shoulders, and you've got to show that you can carry it.
Without a doubt, and on a map like Dust 2 as well, it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out. I think there should be a powerful combination to look for Astralis, and there is a world in which they turn up differently here, but best of ones are just notoriously difficult to play.
I think this is Entropic just going, you know what? You guys don't have much time with your roster. Glaive has been sitting out. You guys have been swapping players around. We know RIP Bubsky. So, I mean, as far as Astralis is concerned, have they had much time to practice on Dust 2? This could be the sidewinder thrown in here by Entropic saying, you know what? We don't think you guys have much time on this map because there was a crucial change made to this map now that you cannot see from T-spawn into CT through the mid doors anymore. That changed the dynamic of the map severely, and The question is whether or not Astralis have had time to get up to date on it, because there's been a lot of movement on that map. It's a totally different beast.
It's definitely changed some things. You could take a couple of more risks, you know, getting through the middle if you want to. You can try and do it. Obviously, the Ts can still jump down and try and be really quick about it. But also, we see that on the CT side, sometimes people try and push up now, maybe a little bit more than they used to, because they think they can get away with it. So even though the map is probably mostly still the same, I agree. If you make that assumption that it's just going to play out the same, it probably won't. And especially you think about the grenade meta as well. Team like Entropic, if they've come in early, if they've done a little bit of research, if they figured out some good places to leave grenade stacks and go back and pick up, even who knows if Astralis are going to be ready for it. So I think it's going to be interesting.
That's another really cool element of the meta that we're all getting used to as well. Going into the major, Valve decided, you know, to really keep the pros on their feet and make it so that you can drop grenades as well. That's something that's hasn't been done before, and so now we're getting to see how these players are deciding to change that up. And one of the go-to strats that we've seen a lot of, and you guys can keep an eye out for this, is that on maps where CT side they tend to rotate through their own spawn, players will just drop grenades in the spawn so that you can go and play A long on Dust 2, but if you have to rotate back through mid towards B because it's a quick B hit or something, maybe use some nades on long, it's fine. You pick up some more nades in CT spawn, they got dropped earlier, and then you're right back into the mix fully equipped. So there's a lot of that going on, and it's something to keep in mind going forward here, guys.
Well, here we go. We're into it. Astralis versus Entropic. It's on Dust 2 here at the Major. I can't believe that we're finally ready and live with it. It looks like they're going to be walking around Upper Dark for a minute here. Obviously, Entropic are on the T side with Astralis on the CT side. Magus has already taken a bit of damage, it seems. So we'll see how that's going to be playing out for him. It's a pistol round, so not that much fun being down on 16 health. There's a good flashbang. Lucky, oh, he is in trouble. And he's never going to be able to make it out. You could tell he knew that was bad. Dupree trying to bring it back. Good headshot. Magisk, even low on health. He's going to be able to pick up the kill on one of them at least. But Dupree will drop Forrester. And that leaves it, I don't know, Lackey and Nickelback on their own trying to drag it back. They actually do incredible work bringing down Magisk and Dupree. And we're back into a 2-on-2.
Oh, and they're so slow, they're not able to get into challenge this in a 2v1 while the bomb gets planted. That was the best chance for Astralis. Now they have to do it the hard way.
Yes, they do. That is just a decoy. Thought for a second it was going to be something more. Glaive sneaking closer. Sip trying to join in. Lackey going to be picking up the 1 kill on Glaive, but Sip is here trying to clutch it in the Major. Oh, he's out of bullets. Knife on the other side. But Nickelback, he's got it wrong. He's going to have to try and reload. Sip is back for revenge. And he's going to take him down. Runs for the defuse, and he should have enough time for it as well. Oh, no. Oh, no. I actually thought he could pick up a kit in there, but turns out not to be the case. So that is a devastating way to lose a pistol in the opening round. Wow.
And it looked so promising with Dupree and Magius finding kills to make up for the fact that Lucky got jumped in mid. Zipnix nearly pulls it off with 2 kills, but thanks to that new timer that we see there in the top left, we get to see just how much time it's going to take to defuse, as well as before the bomb goes off, so you can match it up a little bit. And it was a split second, Anders. You weren't wrong. It was so close, but Zipnix realized he didn't have enough time. He can't see that, but the pros know. They can tell if they've got time or not with a kit or not.
Got some hours in it. Yeah, they could probably guess.
Ooh, double tag? Get out of here. No, not quite. Lucky and Dupree getting tagged in mid, though, not going to help things. And you can see the investment. You saw it. You pointed that out, Anders, where you can drop down into suicide on the T side and still be able to spot into mid. It just takes you a little bit longer, and you have to invest a bit more.
Definitely, I would say an evolving meta, and it makes it so that when you're looking on the CT side, there are just fewer angles to spot for. I mean, precisely one less huge angle up in T spawn. So that means maybe on the CT side, you're going to be a little bit more likely to actually take the fight. Maybe you feel like you can do it. Because that had kind of gone away in the past. It's very hard to take that fight on the CT side. You just kind of ignore it. But maybe now people will try it a little bit more, hoping that they can win that battle. Second round starting with Ilian, I'm assuming.
Ilian, yeah.
Ilian going down straight off the bat. Ooh. Lackey coming through. Glaive jumping for the shot here with the deagle, but that's hard to do with the deagle. You're not going to be guessing much through there. Dupree is down and out, and that's pretty much going to be it for the B bomb site. So, I don't know, you could justify if you're Astralis not going for more damage here and just falling back with the weapons, because you're going to be using them in the next round anyway, so probably better to just back it on out. But Entropic doing a fine job so far.
Yeah, without a doubt. Just moving on back, easy peasy. And this is where I'm starting to wonder if Entropic on it. pressure. But then you where Lucky's going to be playing on this map, on this CT side, they can make his first half a living hell.
I mean, that's got to be part of the plan for sure from their point of view. Got, what, 3 AKs, 1 Galil, 1 Scout, and on the other side, the pistols that they saved from the previous round, the 1 Scout, they're unlucky. It's early days still on Dust 2, so I don't want to get too carried away. A kill down the middle on Ilian, so that's about as unfortunate of a start to the third round as you could get. Still, they should have a good chance of winning it here. Dupree will spot Forrester down in lower dark. Quickly backing on out.
Sick. Oh, Crad, you're not supposed to be missing a smoke like that. That's an unforced error. Maybe some jitters. I mean, it's not like Entropic are long in the tooth either. It's not like they have too much experience at this level. One of the teams that is going to be looking to try and shake things up here and represent the CIS region. Oh, not quite. So, screwing up grenades that you should know the lineup for 100%.
Oh,
questionable.
That otherwise could have been a really dangerous 1-2 punch there if Lucky gets some damage and then Dupree gets put into play afterwards. But Forrester, that was a very, very good spray that came through. Glaive goes down next, leaving Sip. Well, just Magus now going down. So he's on his own out here. Nickelback will take him, and we've got a third round on the board for Entropic. In spite of losing Ilian early in the spawn, they kind of make up for it. They don't get too rattled. Now it's the big test for Astralis, though. If they can't win this round, it's going to be really awkward, isn't it? He saw the leg there. All right.
Well, the question is whether or not they're going to be regretting the decision to put Glaive in instead of Bubsky for Astralis, considering the performance.
Well, people certainly have questions, won't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you go 0-2 on the first day here as Astralis, and this was after a change where you went 5-0 in your group, looked terrific, did a little bit of damage in the playoffs, but that was fine. You were still ironing out the kinks. And then you decide to bench your strongest player, or at least the player that performed best in that tournament. You know, there are going to be some questions. There's definitely going to be some questions.
No doubt the social medias will be lighting up, but I mean, it's too soon to tell, right? Still in that fourth round. Lucky's got his AWP. They've got all the M4A1s, obviously another patch change to pretty much cement them as the go-to M4 nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Not many people holding on to the other one.
Never changed, Anders, never changed.
True, you were on that team too. Disgusting.
Get out of here with the A4. See, you only had an A4 because you had the Howl skin, so that's why I'm convinced that's the only reason why you used one.
And I got rid of it, so maybe now I should just join the M4A1 team.
Yes.
Maybe I should. Maybe it's time.
Oh, nice HE.
That's actually pretty good, yeah.
A meaty one.
Setting up those grenades, but they're going to go out middle instead, so this is just faking a catwalk push from the Entropic side, trying to set it up for middle. Glaive, he couldn't see much at all there, but apparently enough to take down Lackey. Very interesting. I otherwise really like that. That smoke that they put up on the T side on the catwalk can mean anything. It could be for an A push, it could be to drop down to the CT spawn, or in this case, it could be just to look for information in the middle, which they lost a player to. Lucky with a kill on Nickelback. It's not bad. Crad will be taken down Dupree in return, and we're in a 2-on-4 with Crad and Ilian. Well, they're going to get completely found out here. So, I would say a bit more of a slower round. I actually wish they would have committed to that mid-push with the fake. Obviously, we could see that maybe would have worked out, although I still am pretty impressed that Glaive could see anything through that.
Yeah, that's like the barest margin, the smallest of gaps, and Glaive is able to take advantage of it. And that's just nightmare fuel for Entropic because you don't know if he's boosted up. You don't know how much he sees. Are you going to lose more guys pushing through? And I guess that's where they got cold feet, as you said, and decided to try and go up catwalk. But you saw it right there. Without any flashes, without any smokes, without any mollies, but more importantly, flashes to force the op off of that angle that Lucky was holding.
Yeah.
It's so hard to move out in the open towards that A bomb site. You need the flashes to force Lucky backwards, or at least try and get a smoke down, something to work with. But dry peeking it, you're going to die. And so Entropic, that was a bit of a rough round. Maybe working out some of those jitters. All right, we're seeing some unforced errors here. So we'll see if they're going to be able to tighten up their game.
Oh, well, this is good so far. He actually got so deep in. Lucky to take down Glaive as well. It's looking really good for Entropic. Sip, he will just randomly spray through the smoke and get a kill on Lackey. So at least they got that, Astralis. Otherwise, this might have been a lost round almost already. It was about to be 3-on-5. So the fact that they're 3-on-4 instead is a good look for them. But still, 1 minute and 25 seconds. When you get these kills this early on, there's so much you could do Sip has to be real careful, and he's only just back around the corner. That flashbang was good. Setup was pretty good there for Entropic. They're going to know the orb is up here. In fact, they know where 2 out of 3 players for Astralis are. So the math is pretty easy right now if you're on the T side.
This is going to be key. And Lucky doesn't miss the shot. Brilliant work, but we will get that smoke wall down. They realize now that they need to push up onto the bomb site itself, and that Molotov, impeccably timed. It's drawing everything out here for Entropic. They need to move, but these nades are buying so much time for the defense.
Forrester with a good kill on Sip. Nice nade. There we go. The utility damage coming back in for the Astralis side. Still 40 seconds, though, on the clock, so don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here. If you're on the Entropic side, you need to take a deep breath and just use that time to your advantage and make sure you don't suddenly start planting and get, you know, boosted on or jumped on. Nice Molotov there. Is he going to be able to follow it up? Lucky, he's thinking about it, trying to bait out the shot, and the Molotov's not burning him. There's one kill. Megas with the return, but Forrester is there. That is a great trade in favor of Entropic, and they're going to be up 4-1 against Astralis.
Ooh, and that's interesting. Forrester does not grab the AWP. So a little bit of a mistake there. Not going. That's an expensive one. He has to tap his whole bank to drop an AWP over for Elion when he could have grabbed one, saving it on long. Thought we were going to get a collateral there for a second on that shot. It looked so close to getting a 2-for-1. That would have been so sick. But Entropic still get the round locked down. And here we go. First tactical timeout getting called by Astralis. They are a team that will not waste time. They'll throw the tactical timeouts as soon as they feel like things are starting to slip away. And so this is good. They're not wasting any time. They're going to try and address this quickly here, Astralis. And as far as their money is concerned, enough to force, but it's not going to be pretty. Or are they just going to, they're going to play conservatively. Okay, then. So it is going to be just a little bit of a half buy. Megas going for a scout. A couple of Deagles getting picked up.
This is where I think you really, the experience and just, you know, the years combined on this team should add up to a sort of, well, 4-1. Sure, it doesn't sound that good, especially if you take into account how they lost to Copenhagen Flames. But at the end of it, it should be a perfectly recoverable scoreline for Astralis. They have to maintain that confidence in themselves to say, of course we can win this. So yeah, even if we give them 5-1, who cares? It's what? It's the first sort of third of the first half. We're going to be fine. We're going to be all right, even if that happens. So I think they have to maintain that. If they start panic buying now and forcing up with FAMASas or anything, I'd be really worried for Astralis. But I think this is a good choice. Just try and play it off like it's not that big of a deal and move on.
Indeed. Okay, now we get the countdown. I was wondering there if we were having a little bit of a tech timeout as well on top of things. But countdown has begun, and it's looking like we're going to be able to get back in here. And you can already see some of the nades getting dropped around. Horsing around, not enough money to full buy for these guys, so it is a little awkward. You can see them trying to decide what they want to do with this.
Gotta be a little careful with some of those nades, because even in the timeout, they keep rolling. I mean, we saw a hilarious video. Oh! Ooh, he just does a drive-by! He didn't even stop. He shot him through the door. My God.
Whoa!
Get about rolling nades. That headshot from the scout is way more of a concern.
That was so sick! And, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Vitality. That was the meme on Vertigo.
I know,
they dropped it, and it's like watching the smoke roll off the side of the building.
I mean, so obviously that's not going to happen on Dust 2, right? But it can still roll quite far away from spawn if you're unlucky, and maybe you don't want that. Like you said, coming back to it. Lucky here, close with the Deagle. Missed the timing just a bit, and he's on his own. There's no one there to return that kill. Glaive. Easy find. One click on Forrester. And that actually locks them into the map now. They have to go for this. They can't really backtrack across the map. So Astralis have a bit of at least an informational advantage in this play. They don't have the weapons quite, but Glaive is stolen that AK-47, and he's just running through T-spawn, trying to get here ASAP. Blackie with 2 great kills. That kills the flank for Glaive so much. He needed his teammates to be alive for that AK to have any say. He should stop running. There's no point in going for this. Save the AK and let him have this round.
He wants to give Lackey the ace.
Don't do it.
He wants to give Lackey the ace? Lackey's got a chance?
You might be right. Why is he doing this? I don't feel like this is even close to worth it. A shot from Glaive? But yeah, he's going to walk into Crad with that AWP. So, fair enough. He at least got the 1 kill. I know they can buy in this round, but I still think that AK, you could have given that over to Dupree. He would have had a lot more money to work with in the future. I think there's almost no way. He didn't have a kit either, I think, so to win that 1 versus 3, highly unlikely.
Especially if you're going to count on dupreeh to be that B-side anchor. Give him all the firepower he can get right now. He's only got 2 kills, though, dupreeh. So, again, a lot of eyes on dupreeh and Magus to be the heavy hitters here for the team in these matches. They need to carry the weight. And so dupreeh, B-site, sometimes it really is hit or miss. Either it works or it doesn't. But now we're going to see another tactical timeout getting called here by Astralis going into this pivotal round. This is now time for them to start to get things rolling here on the CT side. We've seen since the change that it shifted ever so slightly more towards the CT side in terms of advantage in the half. So if Astralis are trailing already 5-1, they need to start getting in gear here, Anders. They need to start doing some damage.
Yeah, I think now is about the time where, like I said just a couple of rounds ago, I don't think they should be panicked because it's still pretty early on. But if you lose this round and it's 6-1 and it's another bye round, ooh, nice shot. Ilian taking down Lucky. He just saw that coming. But again, you could tell how much more Astralis are willing to try and fight. They're also pushing upper dark into lower. They've actually cleared this entire side of the map. Ilian, though, he knows that smoke is a dead giveaway, that they've lost this part of the map. And the question is, in a 4-on-5, do you just want to go long? Actually, a lot of teams do that because either you just go long like you started, you just commit to this play, or you have to backtrack and check every part of the map as you go back, and that's usually not a good idea either. So I don't really like this position for the T side, although a lot of teams find themselves in it. You just watch a lot of Dust 2. You see this happening pretty often, actually.
Oh. This is where I wonder if they got cold feet or not in Tropic, if they tried to slow it down, not realizing that that push was happening. Now Glaive is going to get the freebie on Elion, and it's just going to shape up so nicely here for the defense. Astralis is going to be able to drop those nades on the bomb sites. Lackey looking to open it up. He's going to get one and a second.
Great handling of that AK. Just absolutely aware that one of them was flashed. He went for the second player up on the catwalk first. That works out so well. Now it's a 2-1-3. Magus setting up. Molotov, does it actually land in the corner? You can throw it there, but it's not always that easy. And it's not going to matter. He forced him out, sure, but Forrester was there to help out his mate, and he's going to get a double kill of his own. 6-1. Astralis, they had the AWP in the right place. They had all the information. They knew what was coming to the A-bomb site, and they still could not defend it against Entropic.
Yeah, the fact that dupreeh is even able to get a kill over, they rotated the extra guys over once they cleared out lower and upper halls. Astralis, they just rotated those extra bodies over towards A. They knew where Entropic were. That's why I was criticizing Entropic, saying that they may be going too slow in this situation and that they should get smashed by Astralis, and yet comes down to it, Astralis cannot connect the shots. Glaive was cowering on the bomb site, not really looking to take a fight, and Lackey just ripped his head off.
And I think he was flashed for the first like 2 or 3 seconds even of that. It was really some good grenades coming in from Entropic. I mean, that's worth pointing out too.
This could just be one of those picks here for Entropic where, again, Astralis may not be as comfortable on it given the fact that Glaive has been sitting out waiting on, well, you know, congratulations, his first child, of course, but like not able to put as much work in perhaps. Whereas Entropic, you know, full 5-man roster, they could just be ready on Dust 2, dialed in, knowing exactly what they want to do.
And I mean, you're right, and it makes a huge difference whether or not you're playing best of 1s or best of 3s, right? Because it's entirely possible that pushed into a best of 3 scenario, Entropic don't have the map depth to try and actually fight on 3 maps like this, but best of 1s, it is just a different feel. Glaive has got a single kill in this round so far, and maybe that's a start. Nice grenade on Lackey. Ooh, and Forrester almost getting himself killed. This could make it a 1 versus 2, in fact, but reloading around the corner, you don't want to be doing that. Orbis on the other side. And that bomb is planted as well. So dupreeh's out looking, trying to see if he could find anything. Glaive is hanging around as well up on the catwalk, but Forrester, they're just going to leave him be. Glaive back around the corner. He can't really go for a defuse here for 10 seconds against the AWP down here. It's such a powerful position. And Ilian going to be doing a fine job. Forrester showed up as well. That could have been a very, very sketchy round for Entropic, but they handled it just fine once they realized what was going on. And they're going to be getting a 7th round to the one of Astralis.
It's just sometimes you're going to get that lucky break, Anders. Sometimes you're going to survive with 3 health, and that's just going to save the round.
Yeah.
You know, if he dies there, that's it. You're going to get crunched if you're out, and you're going to get scissored on. You're not really going to be able to stay alive at long because you can get pinched from the bomb site and from Longhouse. But the fact that Forrester stays alive there, 3 health is what makes all of the difference. Him staying alive just throws everything out of whack for Astralis in that retake.
Lackey has been playing an absolutely incredible game so far. He's 13-5. He's had, I think, a double kill at least every time they show up to the A bomb site. That is, I mean, even that alone is probably a good reason to keep going A if you really want to. You can justify it because you've got this one guy that's just a battering ram knocking down Astralis every single time. So that is impressive. At this level, again, the pressure is... It looks like Entropic are cruising through the first part of this half here. Trust me, this is some high-tension gaming coming out, because if they slip up, they could let Astralis back in the game. They know what's on the line here. It looks like they're having a bit of a free ride right now, but I don't think it feels that way at all if you're on the T side. Magisk in the corner, no one's checked it. It's not going to be a multi-spray down, but there is a team kill in the middle of that. Lackey taking down Forrester, and Glaive to follow it up. I guess that technically counts as a multi-kill. 2 versus 3 now. Lackey and Ilian left alive here and trying to see if they can recover it. But Dupree, that is a critical kill to take down Lackey. They finally bring him down, and it's going to be a second round for Astralis, finally.
And talk about guys staying alive once again. Forrester in the last round. This time it was Dupree dropping that smoke immediately as soon as that execute was coming through. He drops the smoke and creates the space to stay alive, and Entropic have to deal with that. It just slows everything.
Well, still over a minute left. Taking a fair bit of damage. Getting grenaded down out here. Sip. Awkward. So 3 versus 5. And even at this scoreline, you have to really remember, Astralis are not out of this game yet. It is, you have to, especially if you're Entropic, you have to really think deep about this, because if you let them back in, if they get up to 3, if you lose the economy, which they almost have, then they could be right back in the game in a couple of minutes. So don't give them the opportunity. Even this round, which looks like it's probably not going to go their way, another kill would make a huge difference, even if you don't win the round. .25 seconds, and they're just going to slowly run it down, try and see if they can maybe bait Astralis into anything, but they're not even really pretending right now, Astralis. They are just happy to finally get another round. Will be a third on the board for them, so that's something to work with, something they can be a little bit more happy about. 3 to 7. Again, it is a great scoreline for Entropic, but the half is not done yet. We've seen this before, where you have a pretty good start, and suddenly you still end up at like a 7, maybe 9-6, but otherwise 8-7 type scoreline, and it doesn't feel nearly as cool as when you were up 7-1, right? 7-1, 7-3 now, and leading into the 11th round. Yeah.
That's going to be a problem for Tropic. I'm glad that they play it safe and they hold on to some guns. Now they can be a threat in this round, and hopefully Astralis trains to start getting station. Astralis, I mean, on the CT side, it does too. You get 6 or 7 rounds again, you're going to be cooking with gas.
Well,
probably that would help.
This is a critical point in the game, in my opinion. This is a point where, if at this point Entropic lose this round, Astralis probably go from 3 to 5 rounds just based on the T-side economy here. So they really need to put this one together. The flashes are really good. Forrester's down to the... Oh, God. They're so deep in. They could win the round right now. 3 kills unreturned from Astralis. Glaive on his own, fighting for his life out here. And he's doing such a fantastic job. 3 kills with the M4. He had to manage every single bullet, or he was going to run out. But he comes back for more to try and throw that nade. And that got him killed. And now it is on Magisk to try and follow up on the legacy of Glaive out here, because he just basically got them back in the round. Can Magisk do it? They are backtracking. They have over a minute. They don't care. They're going to go back through T-spawn now.
Oh, and this smoke has sold it, Anders. Magisk has got every reason to think that they're somewhere around here right now.
Yeah. Well, think about the context of the game. Every other time they've shown up on long, they've gone long. They've never come back from this position. So Magisk must also be thinking, well, they never actually turn it around. But now they do. They're going to have the bomb plant. He is going to be so far away. It could be done, but there is no surefire way to win this round. If you're Magisk, I almost feel like just pull out your knife, run there, and try and headshot the first guy you meet real quick. Because if you spend too much time thinking and waiting, it's probably not going to work out well. Iliam will take him down. It is an 8th round for Entropic. They avoid that economic death, and they are so much on top of this game right now. Astralis can still buy. That is the only silver lining here.
What's crazy is that that is almost a round that Glaive brings back single-handedly, and he is the only one in double digits on the side of Astralis right now with 12 kills, 0 assists. The guy just feels like he has to pull his team across the line right now, and well, that's what leaders do. That's what the in-game leader needs to do sometimes. He needs to get the guys fired up and fighting. And so if Glaive is going to have to be the one, I mean, hopefully that's going to be enough to get dupreeh and Magisk in this game. We can start seeing them having an impact here. Because that's an 8th round on the board for Entropic, and now Entropic have a chance to break Astralis' economy as well, which would throw things completely out of whack for Astralis in this first half.
Yeah, they are skirting right on the edge here, Astralis. There's no doubt about it. That triple from Glaive is unbelievable because...
yeah, one after another, just...
And he's at the edge of the smoke. If they just tag him through or anything, he's probably going to be sprayed down and die. He's got the M4A1, which again, it's a powerful rifle, but it does have that bullet penalty. So if he can't just randomly and indiscriminately spray through the smoke, he actually has to be really conservative with using those bullets, and he did do a fantastic job. But I don't know, it was all for nothing at the end of it.
It's that classic Entropic where it's just like, just keep throwing bodies at him. He's right there. Go get him. And then it's just one after another running through that smoke, giving the shot to Glaive, doing exactly what he needs them to do. And but here we get the smokes going down in mid. That could set up for the B split, but Entropic they're looking for an A play.
And a run boost on top of it. What a wild play. Run boosted with an AK and a major and a headshot on Sip. Absolutely beautiful. Lackey is such a powerful player in this game. Another headshot to bring down Glaive. Another double kill. It is every single time they hit this A-bomb site. He is ready to fight them. Absolutely stellar. He's going to get one more. A triple on Lackey. No one can stop him. And now it's on Krad to try and take a little bit of a fight to Sip here, but Magisk and Lucky are just going to have to back on out and surrender this round. That makes it 9 for Entropic. This guy, Lucky, is absolutely out of control.
Magisk just scrapes him off the bottom of his shoe like some crud that he found. I don't know.
Get out.
That is such a brutal take.
That run boost, by the way, that's something we typically see when people have pistols and they just want to get a bomb planted. Like, let's just throw someone with a Glock. It's going to be funny.
Yeah,
even
take
if
the bait.
Doesn't work.
Go duck hunting.
Exactly. But they did it in an actual round. Yeah. Magisk going to hold on to the M4. Again, that is super important to Astralis.
And the AWP on Lucky as well. So Astralis actually have some firepower to play with here. Glaive has got enough to full buy. dupreeh as well. It's actually going to be a fairly decent buy coming up here for Astralis. So it's not quite the disaster. But Entropic have got 9 rounds on the T side of Dust 2 right now. They are cooking with gas, Anders. They are looking so good. And Lackey, again, with these individual plays that are making so much of a difference. Because it's not like everybody's firing on all cylinders on Entropic either. I mean, Nickelback kind of lagging behind right now, trying to set his teammates up, but not really getting the kills. It really feels like some individual plays that are making the difference for both of these teams in this first half. Lackey for Entropic's really standing out, and Glaive on the side of Astralis. So we're just gonna see what these guys are capable of.
What they're proving a little bit too on the side of Entropic is the fact that that A-bomb side is just it's a sore leg, right? They've been kicking and kicking at that leg all the way through. It's starting to get really painful, and it doesn't matter if they go long or catwalk, they're still making it work. So that whole A-side defense is probably not feeling that great right now. It's frustrating when you kind of know it's coming round after round and you can't stop it.
That is a very cool smoke that Astralis just threw through the mid doors to make it look like somebody was going to push lower dark. That forced some utility out of Entropic that they probably would not have wanted to use. True. But they had to commit a flash down to lower dark to actually clear this, because this smoke that just cleared, that is a big warning signal for Entropic. They have to worry that Astralis are playing aggressive this round.
And they've been slowed down coming out long as well. They haven't really gone for it. They tried once, Entropic, remember, to go for B instead, where Magisk was hiding in the corner and they ended up losing.
Yep.
So I think that was one of the attempts from Entropic to try and sort of change the otherwise very A-centric first half that we've been seeing here. They could do it again, right? If you catch them off guard, it's not. We can tell Astralis on the minimap are not actually leaning that heavily A right now. Pretty standard setup, but if you catch them in the right round, maybe you could.
I wonder if they go for the same setup now. Smoke CT, smoke B slope, and just power up Catwalk, or are they going to try and slow play it? They have so many grenades to use. It's kind of shocking to see them try and run it dry.
They're going to set up the initial smokes. They've actually smoked down on ramp as well. They've got a huge wall to run behind, and let's see, Lucky, last time they didn't flash him out quite enough. Maybe they could do it here, creeping through, and Lucky's going to be going down this time. No double kill for him.
The flash goes off a split second after that shot. That is crazy timing. But Entropic have still managed to crab walk their way up onto the bomb site. They'll get a bomb plant here, and now the onus is on Astralis to retake.
Yes, it is. Not that many, actually, no nades really left on the side of Entropic. So holding Catwalk could be pretty tricky, although Nickelback with a good kill. Crad coming in from long, not even waiting for the timing. And takes a kill out long, dropping Glaive as well. He's controlling it. Oh, and the spray at range to bring down Magisk. dupreeh all on his own. Just like that, from a 4-on-4 into a 1 versus 3. It was looking so good otherwise for Astralis, but it'll be a 10th round on the board for Entropic. Ilian taking the last kill. They're playing a phenomenal game right now.
Crad, okay.
I was just going to say, in spite of losing that early fight to Lucky.
Well, I was just going to say, Crad the Chad. He played that
truly
perfectly at long. The off timing as well, always making him think like, okay, now you have a chance to peek A site. Nope. Because he goes, re-peeks again as Magisk is thinking, okay, he's not going to peek, he's going to play passive at long. No. Crad pulling a fast one on him, catches him looking the wrong way. That is impeccable stuff. And here's the aggression from Astralis now into mid, but they were watching it in Entropic. They are aware that this is coming.
Yep. It's a play that we see more now after the change to Dust 2. People try and do it. I don't think it has the same surprise factor that it used to, but saying that, they're kind of looking for it. But Crad is still running. He's not aware at all that they're... Oh, he's still alive. Oh, no, that is a disaster. Crad now going to be slowly walking back and actually spotting for Sip and taking him down. This has really backfired on Astralis. And now the question is, could they even help out dupreeh? Let's see. He's going to get at least that kill in return, but they're out long at the same time. They've given up on this part, and they're going to go fight Lucky instead.
And they realize now that they're, I mean, if with an extra player up top like that, and Lucky gives it away, going to lose that fight through the smoke with the FAMAS. Bold trying to make a play, but that's just not going to happen. And now Entropic can get the bomb planted. There isn't much that Astralis can do to stop this.
A little bit of a jump, I was going to say, otherwise they could have tried to boost. The jump is doing a bit of damage. They don't need a bit, they need to win this round badly on the side of Astralis. 10-3. Glaive still hanging around with the UMP. 14th round, so I mean you could justify saving maybe if you're on the Astralis side. You kind of know that you're going to need this money in the next round, although they are going for it now. They're going to find Ilian as well, leaving Lackey on his own, and the jump coming in. Glaive with a shot on Lackey at the end with the UMP, so still pretty impressive stuff here and a pretty good retake coming through from the side of Astralis. I thought they were going to run out of time, and it was pretty close.
I thought so too. You were right to point out the lack of utility there to help with that retake either as well. That's so tough on Astralis, but they managed to fight their way through. Entropic, when you get stuck on that defensive back foot and the momentum is shifting against you, it's Astralis who are just pushing aggressively. It can be really tough to hold, and I think that's what happened with Entropic there. Just trying to hold off the flood wasn't going to be happening. They have a pretty good long spawn now though, so they could once again just go crashing out long. What is the money like? Little. Indeed. Big changes as well made, and we saw Astralis finally take advantage of it. Throw some chaos into these rounds. Try and avoid being too predictable here. You know, it's better late than never. Every round matters in a game of Counter-Strike, and so if Astralis can manage to pick up the remaining 2 rounds in this half, that's going to be big. This is going to be the last round of this first half, and so they won the last one with some aggression up mid, trying to get that chaos going, trying to make it a little bit more difficult for Entropic to predict what was coming. But we need to see something more here from Astralis on this final round. At least they get the full buy. They'll have everything they need going into this round. So no excuses on the firepower side.
It's kind of impressive because Lackey's been having a great game at 16 kills, but Glaive's actually at 15. He's one behind, and I mean that's kind of hard to match. I would say that kind of an output in one half.
I know Glaive, you know, he's been touted as a fragging in-game leader in the past, but it's not his job. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I put a lot of emphasis on the beginning at the beginning of this match. Thorin as well on the desk has put a lot of emphasis on this. You know that we need to look to Dupree and Magisk,
but
to smash. And if Glaive is the one top fragging, that is a losing situation for Astralis. I think you really need to have Dupree and Magisk at the front doing a lot of the heavy lifting here for the team. But of course, it is always tough, and it is worth considering that this is still CT side, and those are the two B anchors. So if they're always going into retakes on A, that's a hard life as a CT side. So I will cut them a little bit of slack there. If they're not getting hits on B, then they're not going to get too many chances to kill. So maybe T side, you know, they're going to lead and just smash everything in front of them. And really, that's what Astralis are hoping is going to happen, because so far, Entropic have done a good job of dodging Dupree and Magisk and not really letting them get in.
Yeah, that is actually, it's interesting, and it's a story we've seen before. We've been here where you're just not doing anything on that B-bomb side. It happens on multiple maps. This still was very, very A-heavy for Entropic in the first half, so it's kind of impressive. But then again, like we pointed out, once it's working, once they found out, we can actually just go long. And even if they know we're coming, even if they have time to set up a defense, we're still winning. So maybe it's not such a bad idea. Just keep hitting that soft spot until... I mean, Astralis, to their credit, I don't think there weren't many rounds where they heavily over-rotated, and even some of the ones where they did, actually, where they were like 3 long, they still didn't win that fight. So it's... but otherwise, that's an easy mistake to make if you're on the CT side, is you suddenly say, all right, listen, we're just going to have to put 1B, 4A, and forget about the middle because we're just getting beat up. Well, again, you saw Entropic throughout that one round where they did go B instead, and if that coincides where that's where you've leaned A, there's nothing worse as an in-game leader. If you're on the defense and you've asked all your troops to come help you out on that A-bomb side and they don't even show up, that just feels like losing.
I mean, you know, you wouldn't even be in that round if it weren't for Glaive. True. Right? You know, if he doesn't pull a triple out of nowhere, like a rabbit out of a hat, I mean, Astralis are just, it would be a completely just horrible scoreline that we've got going on right now, because Entropic's money would have been stronger, and then who knows what happens in the following rounds, right? But, I mean, it's still a pretty disastrous first half here for Astralis. If they end this on 4 rounds, it's going to be so difficult for them to fight back in the second half. Granted, they'll be on the T side, so they'll get to set the pace, they'll get to make it happen. But, you know, Entropic will have a huge lead. So, just a reminder, everybody, in case you're wondering, this is, in fact, LAN. Not quite to the standard of what we... well, let's say we're not in front of a crowd yet. We're not in the arena, but these guys are on location in Stockholm playing in the hotel. So they are on LAN together in that sense. But obviously they're fighting to play in front of the audience. And the arena is going to be sick in Stockholm.
Oh, it definitely will be. Yeah, we're getting there. We're building our way into it. 10-4 is the first half here.
Good.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
It really has, in a weird way, it's felt like life has just been on standby for a really long time. I sometimes catch myself thinking, like, why does it feel like everything is obviously this whole COVID situation has made everything feel different. But even when it's not that, I've noticed it in my life. It's not quite the same. I've really missed this. So you know, I'm glad that we could be back doing this once again at this kind of a level. They're all moving around, so I don't know if that means they're about good to go. Hopefully soon. Money in terms of that for Entropic, certainly looking like they could put something together here. They're not going to be defenseless in this upcoming round, so that's good to see. Oh, we are lacking one of the players on Entropic, so again, 4 and 5. So we don't want to play like that.
One of them dropped, so that's what we're waiting on to get them back in. And, well, that's why it's like, okay, considering you're all in that, I mean, we do have admins on staff over there in Stockholm, so obviously they can stay on top of it and hope to be able to help to fix the problems quickly. But the fact that that is one of the things, actually, I wonder, it's like a logistics thing, because if the teams are playing from rooms, individual rooms, it means the admin has to hustle over to whichever room the team is in. If it's a PC issue or something like that, you know, so maybe they have to, he's just sitting there waiting for the hotel, the elevator, you know.
So hopefully not. Hopefully they're all at the same floor or something. Poor guy. Or they have hired more than one. It's possible, right?
That's also possible.
Just a whole team of
people. You know,
sure.
Just don't take the elevator. Go up the stairs. Get that exercise.
Yeah, use it as an opportunity. It's good. So
get the hustle.
Unless it's like a 10-floor difference in that case, maybe not. I've got to say, again, we sort of outlined it in the beginning, the pressure difference of being the heavy favorites in Astralis versus being just the young up-and-comers of Entropic, even if some of them have some experience, obviously. It is still pretty impressive when you get to see it like this, right? They're just cruising through some of these rounds here, and Astralis really look like they're under a fair bit of pressure early on. So that's so interesting.
This is the dangerous situation that Astralis find themselves in, and it's the one that all Tier 2 teams find themselves in, which is you're in the online melee now, essentially. So you're in that Tier 2 melee where it's chaotic, anything goes. You have insane fraggers who can just take rounds out of nowhere and just take over maps the way Lackey has taken over this first half. I mean, this is something that's very possible, but that Astralis, for a long period of time, they didn't really have to deal with.
Yeah.
Now these teams have been kind of playing in online, and so you have they've been rubbing shoulders with these online teams that they wouldn't have before when it was only LAN that they were competing on. But Astralis are a team that are used to being in the top 8 and being like, okay, we're gonna wait for the other 8 teams to join us who are more experienced and who play our kind of style of CS, and so we don't even need to worry about that other kind of CS that Entropic might be playing, right? Astralis right now are running head first into Entropic and into a style where perhaps they're still trying to make adjustments.
It's also a world in which at previous majors, right, like Astralis are already at the legend stage.
Yeah,
right?
they're just like, they're chilling. They're with the other 8 just waiting in the wings.
When you get there, very likely, you're going to be playing with against a bunch of people, that you know their style, right? You know what it's like playing against Simple and Cyber. Even though they might be really good players, at least it's a pattern that's kind of familiar to you. You have an idea about how they're reacting to certain situations. It might not be the case with Entropic. Astralis obviously they've watched demos. Obviously they've tried to prepare. It's not like they're just going to walk in here blind today. But still, it's tricky, right? To try and remember, they couldn't know necessarily that they end up fighting Entropic in this game, right? That's not something they can necessarily prepare for. So even if you watched a couple of their games, you have to now try and remember, how exactly does Lackey play that long position? How is he normally doing it? Is he going to be aggressive? Does he just go for it? Like, you don't know that in your bones the way that you would against some of the teams that Astralis maybe more regularly would have played a couple of years ago. It would have been different, right? So there's some stuff here that's really working against them.
Yeah, Astralis are just, I think that they really lost the first round draw, taking Copenhagen Flames first round. I think that was the worst case scenario for Astralis.
Could have very well been,
Out of all the first round picks, they get Copenhagen Flames. I think that was the worst one for them. And now they're up against Entropic, who, they come from the CIS region. That's no joke. Those guys grind and those guys hit hard. And second round, you've already taken one shot today. Maybe you're a little dazed. You haven't quite got your feet under you, and now you're just getting pummeled by Lackey and the rest of Entropic. I mean, the beatdown right now that Astralis are taking.
Now, obviously, they wouldn't just go straight out, right? Like, they'd have a chance to play a best of 3 to try and keep going. Which I think is, format-wise, is a really good pick. That's a nice way to do it, because then you can't really complain, right? You have to, you got all the chances to try and get this done.
I think best of ones also are way more forgiving now than they were before. When everybody was really complaining about best of ones before, that was at a time when the economy was way less forgiving and the maps were way more one-sided. So you can have just blowout halves where it's just like you lose 2 rounds and your whole half is over essentially, and a best of one could be really cutthroat.
That's actually a good point.
Today, now with all the safety nets the devs have put in, the maps are way more even, way more equal. The economy's way more forgiving, and so I just want to hear less whining about best of one, because I don't think it's nearly as cutthroat as it was once upon a time. And then you get your safety net with the best of 3. Like you said, you still get your best of 3, but I think that having the 2 rounds of best of 1, I'm fine with. That works.
I still happily would tag on another like 4 or 5 days or whatever it would be to add like a double elimination type of thing, because that just would be cool. I think just for the story, I don't want every tournament necessarily to be double elim, but I think for the major, why not?
Yeah.
It's fun.
It would be nice. It would be nice. But we still get 12 days of Elite CS, and 4 of those days are going to be
right
with
now.
an
That
audience.
feels like so much. That's amazing.
It's going to be so good. But it looks like we've got all 5 back for Entropic. So,
all right,
are we ready to go?
Shoot that starting pistol and let's get the show back on the road. It's the 15th round. A little bit of I mean, it's hard to know whether or not sometimes sort of an inadvertent technical timeout like this one could be more beneficial for one team or another. I feel like maybe for Astralis, if it wasn't this long, it maybe would have been, but now they're actually just getting to stew in it, right? And Entropic, I mean, they weren't just rushing down anyway. They're playing pretty measured, I would say. They weren't just rushing long and rushing the A-bomb site. They took time to think, so I don't think they're going to be losing a lot of momentum in having a little bit of a break here. But Astralis are going to have time to sort of think, man, we're really not winning this game right now, at least. And that can be a little bit tough to sort of sit in, right? If this is like 9-6 right now, or I guess 8-6 or something, it's kind of a little bit more even. But I feel like Astralis must be probably a little bit more stressed at the moment. Hopefully, again, this is where you want the experience coming through. This is where you want them to be not stressed at all. Although I think that's easier said than done.
In 2 maps, they've only won 10 rounds. Their first match of the day against Copenhagen Flames on Overpass, they lost 16-6. So Copenhagen Flames already blew them up once. Now you have Entropic, who are 10-4, could finish this 11-4 if Astralis can't come up with some magic in this last round. Imagine a world where Astralis are just getting utterly demolished in 2 maps. Just this is that would be a devastating start to the tournament. I mean, you can still look forward to the best of 3s. You can still have that scenario where Astralis, it's not going to just be one more best of 1 that's separating them from the void, but it's still a world in which the defending champs could get knocked out.
That would be. I'm guessing someone has that in their pick'ems. Not me.
That would be a crazy pick. That would be pretty sick.
Someone's got to, right? There's got to be someone out there who's seen it coming. So shout out to those people, I suppose. Very hard. I feel like this is something that's happened every single major for me. When I look at the bracket and the opening games, I just think it's so obvious who's going to win. Like, I'm not even in doubt. I'm like, of course I know who's going to win these opening games. Like, no problem.
Okay.
And every single time I'm like, damn, I'm way off. There's always something crazy happening at the major. I don't know why it is, but it's just I should just start counter-picking, or just every other game I just random it, because it feels like I'm always wrong on like half of these picks, especially in the beginning. I feel like it's so rough. So
how are your predictions going? I can't remember. So far, I'm good. I've got everyone except for the Astralis upset, and I'm kicking myself on that one.
I think I've got everyone except for the Astralis. I want to say that's true, but maybe I'm just making that up now. That we can't check it, but I feel like right. Maybe I submitted crazy picks. Who knows?
Check the desk later, guys. When we see the predictions, you'll see what Anders picked.
Yeah, just madness. I mean, this is.
But we're still waiting. We don't know, guys, what's going on. So in case you're wondering, we're wondering too. We're in the dark with you guys.
Microphone problems, apparently.
Okay. Seems like a mic problem. So
that is important, though.
How does that happen?
Someone, I don't know.
Also, I mean, if you have a coach
it's counting down.
It's counting down. Oh, hey, we're good, Anders. Let's go.
We just had to complain a little bit more, and it sorted itself out.
Guys, worth mentioning as well, no breaks in halftime. We're rolling straight into the second halftime, so there's no ad break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get right into the second half. You won't want to miss it.
Ilian takes a shot. He's back for more. He's got the angle. That easily could have been a kill there. Magus kind of AD-ADing a little bit there while spraying the gun, and it works out. He's going to get the kill on Forrester. Not bad. Crad not quite brave enough to move forward in that position. Lucky goes down to Lucky. And it's a 3-on-5. Great start for Astralis. This is what they needed like 5 rounds ago. They needed this kind of a beginning. And I don't know why they're hanging around in the middle still. They got the 3-on-5 they need. And Magus goes down.
Astralis deciding to play the meta in the last 2 rounds of the half, which is, charge mid and put pressure mid, make it chaotic. You can get out quick now onto the CT side, and it can get out of hand. And so now, well, we do have Elian still hanging around in top mid. Bomb is still in control as well. Nickelback going to be holding on to that. And this, you can see just how much time this is burnt off the clock. Entropic are only down to a minute, and they haven't really taken any control anywhere.
Going to be hard to get out here. Throwing that flashbang will alert Glaive on the other side. Not that he's got any backup, really. And actually, they're going to be falling back. Surely that's just being heard. I feel like this play is being telegraphed from all the way across the map, and Astralis surely know what is going to be coming, and especially they'll know Dupree just has a Molotov in his hand. Going to be ready for it. That'll segment them off, and he gets the headshot on Krad as well. So this round is definitely done, and Astralis will be able to find a way to get 5 on the board here. Ilian on his own, and Dupree's already pushed up. That's a pretty good little double kill for him, and it will be 10-5 overall at the end of the half in favor of Entropic, which again is really impressive. And like you said, we're not going to be having much of a break here. We're just going to go straight into the second half, which I kind of like. Let's keep the pace up and just keep going.
Exactly. And now I really want to keep an eye here on Astralis. Now that they decided to play aggressively in the last 2 rounds of the half, they started to play a bit more towards the meta of what we expect to see on Dust 2 for the CT side. A bit more of aggression in mid, pushing upper dark, really taking the fight to Entropic. That's really cool. And now we get to see Astralis on the T side where they get to call the strats. Obviously, Dust 2 is still one of those maps where we kind of look at spawn and where you spawn on the T side. If you get a good long spawn or a good upper dark spawn, you know, it can determine what kind of strat you want to run. So keep an eye on where the players are spawning in that rectangle. But I mean, now we get to see if Dupree and Magisk are just going to be here to rip heads off. This is going to be sick.
They need it badly. Astralis second half, it has to be really good from the start, or they're not going to get, well, they're going to be 2-0-2 in the group, and that's not what you want. Lilian, Crad playing here behind the smoke. They're not checking it. They're not suspicious. Oh, he walks out. It could be beautiful, and it will be. Crad with a triple, taking down Lucky, Magisk, and Sip. They just were not suspicious. They did not suspect that anything bad was happening inside of that smoke, and oh boy, were they wrong. Glaive now, 1 versus 5 out here. And the setup, the fact that Nickelback got that 1 kill, that is suddenly all of their attention. Their mind is just somewhere else. And Glaive, well, he's being held. Dualies and a USP on one side. He's going to be straight dead out here. Execution 11-5 in favor of Entropic.
Outrageous, Anders, outrageous. And I think you get that. You just hit the nail on the head. The man playing mid, just taking pot shots at Cat, is just making Astralis think, oh, everything is normal. Nobody's here. We're going to be able to aggro up Cat real quick and get onto that A-bomb side. Little did they know, Crad had pushed through the mid doors, and again, that's the thing that you can do on the CT side. You can push through those doors real quick now, and nobody was there to watch for Astralis. Now they'll have a player in Suicide Astralis, so they've made that adjustment to keep an eye on things. But in that pistol round, that was not the case, and Entropic took perfect advantage of it. So now Astralis, well, just it's a disastrous start to the second half here. Losing the pistol is so painful, but they do go for the hard eco this round, so that's cool to see. It means that we'll get rifles in the next round.
I mean, as absurd as it sounds, I think it's the 3rd or the 4th time that I brought up this point, but they have to keep believing that they just are the better team, and that once things get rolling, they're going to be able to win no matter what the difference is, really. So I understand why they're doing this, even if it seems like they're running out of runway for this plane to actually take off. They're going to have to keep trusting in it. 12-5, the scoreline, and like you said, straight into the AKs here.
Indeed, Anders, you're right. And yeah, that's the one thing where instead of going for the Deagle Kevlar, they go for the hard eco. So we will get that. They don't even get close to planting a bomb, but they will have enough for the AKs and some nades. And Scoot picked up on Lucky, so we will get that shot, and there it is.
All right.
Wallbang drops Forrester in mid.
That is a good start to the round. Crad is going to be slowing them down a little bit with that Molotov. They don't want to push behind it. And they're in a similar position. They're all out long. It looks like Entropic, no. Oh, wow. That is a clean headshot if I've ever seen one. Magisk taking down Crad. I was going to say otherwise, kind of a reversal of roles here, where the CT side knows what is coming for sure. They definitely know, but they might still lose the round, even if they have all the intel, which normally is like half the battle in Counter-Strike. It's just figuring out where's the actual attack going to happen. Well, this round, there's no mystery, but it still can be very hard to hold the A-bomb side, just like we saw in the first half, really. Lucky, though, doing a good job. Nickelback is there. Oh, Astralis, they should not be losing control of this round, but somehow they are. Lucky, this is just a scout. That's not going to be a kill. And just like that, it's a 1 versus 2. I really cannot believe it. They had this round locked down. 3 versus 5. They had that A-bomb side. They were just there. And they somehow walk their way onto the site and get killed. Magisk walking into the scout. He's real low on health, and he's going to be down. He couldn't find the head of Ilian, and that's a 13th round for Entropic. Unbelievable scenes here.
I cannot believe it, Anders. I cannot believe what we just saw. Astralis getting picked off one after another, slow walking up onto that bomb site. Entropic, that's outrageous that they actually managed to pull that off. I cannot believe that they actually managed to do it. And so clean as well. You're thinking with 2 entries, that's it. Astralis, they're in the bin. And yet Entropic, they wasted no time. They went for the gamble and rotated hard over. There's Zipnix again giving them the man advantage, again taking out Forrester.
Yeah, but
Forrester can't catch a break in these rounds. He's just sat 2 rounds now because of this spot in mid.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's also, you're starting to feel like, yeah, but does it make a difference? If they can't win the rounds, because that kind of an opening normally will give you a little bit more to work with. And they just threw away a round where they had this exact same setup.
You're right, you're right.
So, Sip, that's pretty close. But Ilian will take him down with a much more powerful rifle. So back into a 4-on-4. And the rest of them, They have pistols. They could try and do something. They're getting outsniped by Ilian, who's had a pretty respectable game himself. A little bit of a missed opportunity there, perhaps. But he's got some backup in here. So even if they try and flash him down, yep, the M4 is in front. Always a good setup to try and do that. And it's a 2-on-4.
Has he not missed a shot yet? That's sick. What a good feel. He's just tagging everybody, and that's what it feels like when you get to just stand your ground in mid, just taking shot after shot. Astralis challenging one after the other as well. And Astralis right now are looking a little disjointed. Spacing not quite right, not quite taking advantage of utility either. And so I'm wondering right now what the comms are like on Astralis, if they're clean or if they're quieting down. Because this is just looking like another beating, Anders. 14-5 for Entropic now, who are in full control. Entropic get to go for the full buy, have everything that they need. And while after that round of eco, Astralis are going to get a full as well. Lucky's going to finally get his hands on an AWP. Yeah, that was the spot.
It's becoming increasingly difficult to spin this into something positive, isn't it, Samla? How do you sell this?
It's tough. I mean, it's still
roller
possible.
Roller coaster is more fun on the way down.
Yeah, I guess for Astralis, right? They just want the best of threes. Whee! They only want best of threes. You know, they're like, screw these best of ones. We'll get these best of ones done as fast as possible, and we'll just get into best of three territory, right?
They're gonna have to come up with something, because that's where they're headed right now. 14-5. They got some rifles back in the hands on Astralis here, but we're talking about, realistically, something like 11 rounds in a row to try and get back. If they mess up at any point during that, it's probably going to be done. So, certainly make for a very cool story, but the likelihood of that happening is almost zero. Set up on the catwalk. They've got one out long. That's Sip hanging out there. They've got Megaskin upper dark, holding an eye on that. It's a pretty standard setup, which can kind of spiral into anything really for Astralis, right? It's so early on. Could still be a fake on catwalk and go back to B-splitting if you want it to out middle. But we'll see. Sip is starting to fall a little bit further back. Gonna come join them, it seems like. I still wonder if this isn't going to be a B-split.
It feels like it, because you still have Magus lurking around in Upper Dark right now, looking for that info push from Entropic. So if anybody were to push for info, but Entropic, they've fully committed to this hold now. With 38 seconds, they're saying 2 on B, 3 on A. We are not moving. We're not going anywhere. We just wait and see where they hit, and we have to hit our shots when the time comes.
Speaking of time, 27 seconds. Lucky with the kill on Forrest, a good flashbang, but Lucky, he could not pick up more than them. They were really blind, I think, in that middle, but they find a way to thread the needle here. Astralis even getting the shot for the smoke on Dupree there. That's not bad. Taking down Nickelback, and that'll give them the round for sure, even with 12 seconds. At the end, they had time to put the bomb down, and yeah, that was a bit of a classic setup, really.
Yep.
And I mean, we saw them throw the smokes in the middle. What you didn't see is the smokes that land on the catwalk to try and sell that A side of the fake, and I mean, they did a good job, there's no doubt.
Well, having the lurk smoke on catwalk is what's going to keep Entropic just focused on A, or at least stuck there, because they can't rightfully rotate while that smoke is up, because that's the whole point of a lurk smoke. You don't know if somebody's sitting behind it who's there to wreck you. And so Entropic are stuck, but Entropic really did just commit to the idea that wherever Astralis show themselves, we're going to just hit our shots. And they set it up with that flash through the smoke in CT, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, everybody is there from Astralis because they are going for the death ball approach, where it's just no matter where you peek from, 3 rifles are going to be facing your way. So you're not going to kill all of us. We will eventually whittle you down and get onto a bomb site.
And we'll think about this. That setup that they just ran is so variable that Astralis can do this, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 more times with different outputs, right?
Yeah.
They could do that strategy where they drop down in the CT spawn. They could do it where they legitimately execute on the A bomb site. They can do it where they go out in middle and then wait for the CTs to try and retake middle and see if they do it early around. There are so many variations of the same smokes and flashbangs that just have a different outcome. So if they get catwalk over again here from Entropic, if they can win that fight, they can kind of keep messing with them for a long time to try and build something behind it. Lucky, though, he's pushed into lower dark with an AWP. That is a wild play.
I'm pretty sure Dupree was close enough to hear the footstep. That's why Dupree's playing it this way.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was an audio cue that told him somebody pushed lower dark.
But he doesn't have anyone in middle. They can set up that smoke on the Xbox. That's okay, but is it actually going to make a difference? Nice Molotov to force back Ilian as well. And now Lucky's going to be feeling really, really lonesome. And Dupree, he's run out of patience, maybe a bit too soon. A missed opportunity. Lucky, but he's still not falling back. He is so brave. He's just not giving up on it. Flashed as well, but so is Dupree on the other side. They're going to try and go for him, and they'll finally win that fight. That looked like it could have gone either way.
Mad lad, Lucky. Mad lad. And now Dupree is just chilling out here at mid. He's going to cut this map in half and give Astralis all of the options with 50 seconds on the clock now. Astralis looking like they're going to hit that B site. Dupree is already in position to catch the rotate, and the rest of the team can gather up and just smash onto that B bomb site. So it is all going to be riding on Forrester and Nickelback now. Those guys, they have no option but to fight their way out of this situation.
And they have no grenades, so it is just going to be the raw fight. Only holding middle is Dupree. The rest of them will be coming in a little bit one at a time, a little bit slowed down, in fact. They don't have time for this at all. Ilian and Nickelback doing it. 19 seconds, a big triple coming out from Nickelback. Double so far, actually. One of them there, I think, stolen by Forrester. And Lucky, he can't do anything. This was such a weak attempt from Astralis in a lot of ways. They had the setup for it. They had the 4 versus 2 basically in the bomb site, and they just couldn't actually get through even the first player.
They had the grenades too, Anders.
Yeah, you're right.
They had everything. Oh, he survives. Oh, saved by the bell.
That's very uncharacteristic. They had set this entire round, and remember, this couldn't turn into a fake. There was not enough time to do anything but this. They had one guy holding middle, the other 4. They need to hammer their way through to that B bomb site. It's fine to get some spacing, right? We talk about that a lot. It's fine to have one guy go in and then a little bit of a delay, but that's not what we were seeing here. This just seemed like it was a very, very weak attempt to get into the bomb site. That makes it 15-6. Entropic 1 round away from putting Astralis down in the O2 bracket, and that is wild.
It's out there. I mean, right now, Astralis, it just felt like the spacing was completely off. Glaive was just ahead of everybody else, and that just allowed for Entropic to get the feel for what Astralis were throwing at them. Now I'm seeing Glaive doing a lot of talking. Now we're going to see some buying from him, so that's good. Lucky, yep, we'll get that smoke grenade. He had enough money for it, and the nade count is pretty good here for Astralis, all things considered. But Entropic, do they go? They were thinking about it, and sure enough, but there's the trade. Alien takes Glaive. That had to happen. You had to have the 1-for-1 in mid.
Yeah, still fighting. Think about this mid fight is something that we just did not see before the change almost ever. Krad goes down.
Wow.
I think probably attempting to use the confusion in middle to try and see if he could gain some more map control out there, but that definitely backfired. So 4-on-3 in favor of Astralis, which they've thrown away better opportunities than this so far in the game. So let's just see if they can negotiate this particular round.
Best chance they've had so far, though, to... Well, I mean, now they can actually get around more than 16-6. So that's already good. Of course, Astralis now are looking to play the perfect half to tie this up and force overtime. But they went their first match of the major. They lost to Copenhagen Flames 16-6.
True.
So now Entropic down a man. Still a couple of nades to play with, though. And they have just full gambled. They're going all in on the A side Entropic. They're hoping that Astralis is going to hit here.
Look at what Astralis are doing, though. They are so sure that Entropic will make a mistake and come look for them. And that's fine to use some time on, but they used over 20 seconds to wait around like this. And that's starting to feel not so much like you're giving an opportunity for your opponent to make a mistake. It's starting to feel like you're just not really making any assertive calls right now. And Entropic have not given them any mistakes so far. Nickelback is right at the edge. He hears the footsteps. He's going to spray down one. And on the other side, Dupree is on his own, trying to hold on to it. Magus finally shown up to help out, but this is not a good look. 15 seconds on the clock, and they're going to have to try and see if they can get through Ilian. But that's just not easy. He's already taken one kill. Magus out in the open, and he is gone. 16-6 will be another stopping block here for Astralis as they fall to Entropic.
Wow, and this is Astralis that we're talking about. They've made the changes with the roster as well to get Glaive back in the mix, and it is not working for them in the first 2 matches for the major. They have been struck down.
That is crazy. I really did not see this coming. I think I had Astralis going 3-0 or something. I was pretty hopeful for them. Obviously, it's not gone that way. So, what a tough game for Astralis, no doubt about it. And you saw how they tried to remain calm. They didn't force crazy buys. But at the end of it, they just didn't look like they had a lot of punch left in them at all. Even in rounds where they were ahead 4 versus 3s, or I think even 4-on-2 at one point in that A-bomb site, it wasn't enough. They just can't break through. And on the other side of things, you see how crazy they Krad in that pistol round, hiding at the smoke. Obviously, Lackey as well. I mean, many of these A-bomb site plays are just him multi-killing Astralis.
Exactly. I mean, he just controlled the first half. Without a doubt, he was the MVP for Entropic in that first half. Opening up the bomb sites, here's a big round from him where he was just able to control the situation, keep his cool, and he just kept running up long and eviscerating that A defense. So big props to Lackey for that first half performance. And then you got to give it to Entropic as a team. They kept their cool. They didn't let Astralis get their foot in the door. They didn't let them get any kind of momentum going in the second half. They just kept their cool and really did not let Astralis shake free. They just kept control of the situation and got the win, which is exactly what they needed to do. And so Entropic now, they'll be in the 1-1 score line here.
Yeah.
In the group.
Which is way better
than 0-2, yeah.
Exactly. That's
Back
a really
to the
uncomfortable position to be in. And I've got to say, I mean, we talked about it in that final round for a brief second, right? That 4-on-3, that's a classic position if you're a new team, where you make all the mistakes, right? You know you have to make a play to try and get back in the round. You have 20, 25 seconds where there's nothing happening across the map. It's super stressful because you're just waiting and Astralis are not moving. It sounds like it's nothing, but it is really hard to play against if you're on the CT side. They didn't do anything. They just waited that out, and when that smoke came down, like I think he smoked himself off and just played around it. Nickel back on the catwalk there.
Yeah. It's just veteran plays from Entropic, but they're showing just how competitive it is now. You know, coming out of the CIS region as an underdog, and they're here to play.
Yeah. They've got a lot to do still, of course, but 1-1 for Nickelback is really impressive. We'll see if Astralis can do better in the best of 3, of course, but not just yet. That'll be happening tomorrow, of course. But we're going to go to a break, and then we'll be up with the next match, so just stay tuned.
Coming up next, TYLOO versus Sharks Esports.
Your favorites will play soon. You hope for the win. Excited about the game. But something has changed. You start to doubt. Will they pull it off? Or will they drift away? You pull yourself together. Because you're sure they're revved up to win. You know they've prepared. They've picked the right course. And even when there's no chances, you believe they will win. GG Bet. Be excited.
We figured things out, hopefully, and we're back into another game, this time TYLOO versus Sharks, which is bound to be a crazy game, I have to assume.
Yes. Because I mean, nobody really knows what to expect. Bleh had me believing for a second. And you know what? Actually, Bleh is just going to sound like just the smartest guy now, because this morning he was like, Semler, TYLOO, they win at least one map. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Interesting. But the caveat was that they have to play against Sharks. And sure enough, TYLOO versus Sharks. Here we go. Is this going to be the TYLOO map?
And we're going to end up on Mirage as well. Another open map, another one that's not so much of a... From my side of the view here, I mean, I would have assumed that Ancient and Vertigo would have been the two maps here that could have been a little bit, you know, questionable for either side, but they get banned out at the end. We're going to be on Mirage.
So Mirage is just the FPL map, the Pug map, the map that all the pros are playing right now, that pretty much everybody is playing. It's one of the most played maps in the pool. And so, yeah, okay, good map to settle this on, right? I think both teams have given themselves the best chance possible to get the win. And I think that both of these teams can win against the other. So this is going to be the real 50-50 match of the day, I think, Anders.
It very well could be, yeah. I've got some questions. I actually think I picked neither of these teams. I might have actually picked TYLOO to go 0-3, so we'll see if Blay is going to be potentially ruining, you know, my predictions here. Could be.
Well, Sharks were one of the teams that actually managed to get through, but it was on points in South America. And also, I mean, North America is basically South America now, so there's also that. So are they even the best South American team here at the tournament? I don't think so. I think they're the best that managed to get through the RMR. But let's get into the match, because it looks like we are live already. And TYLOO are starting on the T side.
Well, let's do it then. DanKing trying. Pank is here at the CT spawn with a lot more people. They've got so many people on that CT ramp. This is a very unusual setup. I don't think I've seen this very often for anyone. Sevi's going to be picking up a kill on Slowly. That is a good start for the young Sharks. And DanKing, he takes a bit of damage there, but they're going to get the bomb plant down. JNT will take down Summer. And now it is a 3-on-3 for a second. Rilson coming in with a kill on somebody. DanKing having to reload in the back. Attacker will take a kill on one. DanKing with the other one. And it's just JNT left. He's going to be dropped. And TYLOO will win the opening round of this matchup.
And DanKing with the triple. That P250 that gives you that one-shot headshot, gives you that advantage on the T side, or at least it lets you fight straight up against the USPs. You can really try and take those fights and win those duels. And TYLOO, I mean, everything into that A site looked like a very clean, you know, execute with the nades. They had all the nades. They ran their execute. You're right, though. Sharks, that was weird. They had such a quick rotate onto CT ramp. It's amazing that they weren't able to get more out of that.
Yeah, I mean, that entire setup, if you feel that A play coming and you have that setup to start with, you're just happy. You just think, well, this is amazing. We're actually going to be ready to use this, the USP, shoot him down at range. They just weren't able to, but they kind of had the right idea.
That was a very quick run boost, or quick boost into ladder room at least. So that's different from Sharks. Just trying to keep an eye on what Sharks are going to try and throw in here, because this is a force buy from Sharks. Zevi has held on to $1,000. Oh, meaty nade onto somebody, though.
Yeah, that is a little bit painful. And TYLOO playing this one slowly to begin with. You can tell they're not really ready to go. They spend the first part of this round just kind of waiting around. Another grenade comes in. JNT able to take Summer quite a bit down. That's actually not bad. He's done a bit of damage right then and there. Scout not connecting on that one, but the headshot surely will. Hank able to pick it up, and now it's a 4-on-5. The bomb is planted, and TYLOO can now fall back and just play around the timer of that bomb. And a retake, definitely going to be tricky for Sharks. There's no doubt about that.
It's they're gonna have their work cut out for them, and this is where the rifles should be able to really make a difference. And you can see these long-range fights. Summer getting headshot down, and he is gonna get traded 1-for-1. DanKing, though, still alive, and I feel like he is gonna be the man to make a difference here for TYLOO.
Ooh, scout shot on somebody, headshot onto DanKing, and Attacker is on his own. They're already trying to defuse inside of it, but it's a long defuse, too long. Attacker will take down 3 at the end, and it will be TYLOO to pick up that second round. But that got sketchy. They did not have a defuse kit, so it would have had to have been 10 seconds inside of the smoke. It's a long time to be sitting in there. But still, that was scary.
Way too close considering the firepower that TYLOO had. But what a shot from Zevi onto DanKing. Definitely thought that DanKing was going to be in a position to do some serious damage. But Attacker, the hero, saves it for TYLOO. and the force bind does not pan out for Sharks at all. And so here we'll get the hard eco coming in here for Sharks, really trying to save up for the rifles and nades in the next round. And TYLOO, well, they should have a feel-good round. This should be a winning situation for him here against USPs.
Yeah, and you know they're taking it really slow approach right now, TYLOO. They're not trying to make any mistakes early on. They want to make sure that they're not giving anything easily back to that CT side. So I can respect that. They do have the 1 Mac 10 there on slowly. Not the perfect name for a Mac 10, but whatever. Sure, he'll get the job done eventually. He is walking
There's nothing
through the
slow
middle.
about a Mac 10.
No, it's you have to do the opposite, right? Jump and run and just go crazy.
And it shoots fast. I mean, yeah, bit of a weird pair, but maybe he's trying to say something. You know, it's in the opposite.
He's trying to
the inverse.
Yeah, he's trying to cheat them. The way that the Vikings named Iceland and Greenland.
Exactly, yeah.
Trying to fool the enemy.
Already thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
What is this random AK that just drops down onto A site?
Well, he did pick it up, but he couldn't do much with it afterwards. So that's the A bomb site has fallen. 35 seconds, again, very slow, while still somebody is on the other side of the map. He's in the B hallways, just hanging out, waiting for something to happen. Maybe a chance here against Rilson if he makes for a jump, but he's an odd round, this one. Like, the fact that he's here, it could be fine in terms of finding exits, but you're up against USPs. Do you really need exit kills? Probably not, whereas if you go down and they get an AK-47, that's a big problem. Sevi, though, is on his own, and somebody will be able to take care of business. So it works out in the end. Not sure it's really necessary.
No, it's really risky. And, well, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to be seeing from some of these teams where a European player or a CIS player may not take those kinds of risks, whereas, you know, South American or Chinese, we may see those kinds of plays coming through where they are willing to take some fights that otherwise would be considered risky. But again, I mean, they're kind of in a they're in a bit of a bubble over in Asia where they aren't really getting to compete against the European teams very often. They really just get to follow the scene, and so they get to play catch up the same way that the North American and the South American teams do when they travel to Europe. They only have a certain amount of time to get up to speed with the meta, and then, you know, they have to perform on the day.
Yeah, or end up, you know, picking a meta that's so far removed that no one can expect it. That's also obviously an opportunity. Hank trying to walk into the site. He's going to get 1 kill there, but slowly he's already taking down JNT, and this execute is looking really good right now. The bomb is out in the open. Org is just playing around. Sevi's got the AWP waiting for a jump, but he's not getting it. And this is really awkward again. They're kind of halfway executed into the A-bomb site. They've used pretty much all of their grenades, except for a Molotov and a couple of flashbangs there on the TYLOO side. And they've called for a freeze, expecting for a rotation. They just went back to check T-spawn to make sure that no one's walking up behind them. So they know what they need to know. Slowly, the good headshot taking out Rilson. And if Sharks are going to give them these peaks in the middle of this, then they're fine with it. If they're going to get one more here, Sevi's jumping up. But again, that exposes him. If he goes down, it's just the end of it. Nice run from Attacker. And he takes down Sevi. It's all on Lucas, and he's not going to get anything done, is he?
Holy smokes, these are brutal. These are just brutal frags coming in from TYLOO, though. That shot from Attacker, he just swings and insta-gives them.
Now, when you call for a freeze like that in the middle of an execute,
yeah,
the benefit is you can get the CTs just come looking for you and you shoot them in the face. And that's what happened. It has some huge drawbacks. There are obvious downsides. You lose all the utility that you'd put down. You don't have the smokes up anymore to cover if there's an AWP or anything like that. So it's not like it's just a free thing to do. It comes at a pretty big cost. It just worked out really well for TYLOO this time. Lukowski, he was at the CT ramp at the end of it with an AWP. Just I think 1 on 4, 1 on 3 there at the end. Not a lot that he could have done.
No, and now we gotta just, I mean, TYLOO get to just kind of run their game here. Because again, we have this top of mid presence for TYLOO. Seems like this is going to be a frequent play from them. But also look at this. This is just a 5 points default setup from TYLOO, where they have the 2 in mid, but then, you know, 1 on ramp, 1 on Palace, 1 in B apartments. Everybody just waiting to see if Sharks are going to play aggressive. And to also try and figure out, did they force? Are they ecoing? Are they up to any kind of shenanigans here? I really like this from TYLOO. Patient stuff from them. And let's see if it pays off. It should.
Still the same very, very slow approach here from TYLOO. which it can be so suffocating to play against. We've seen it. I mean, that happens. You see VP play the game every once in a while. You'll get a lot of the time you'll get rounds like these, and it's hard to know when to come look. What are you going to be doing? And TYLOO even playing slow inside of an execute. Lukowski picking up slowly, and Attacker with a return pretty quickly afterwards. This is a very exposed position for the two CZs that are playing down in shadow, and not a lot of coverage in here. Although they found one of them, so are they going to forget about Sevi? That's a big question right now. He's got a 5-7 in there. They haven't checked it yet. He's inside the smoke, and Dan King is right in front of him, planting that bomb. He's going to be walking out. Should be a free kill, but there's no follow-up target. He wanted... Oh, there he is when you make the jump. He can't find Attacker, though. He is low on health as well. That easily could have been a triple.
Outrageous kill there coming in. That one on Zevi was crisp. And Luka, he has that AK from earlier. Real chance to clutch it now. It's all on somebody and faces the AK. Luka finds the kill, and they are going to be on the board here, Sharks. And that was off of a half-buy. Pistols and a few nades to work with on Sharks' side. It was enough for them to get the win here. Both of them sporting Kevlar as well. So yeah, Sharks, it was just the half-buy, hoping to make something happen, and it turns out that it works. That extra man in shadow made all the difference. Zevi with the hero play.
That's interesting. I'm not sure why he peeked that soon coming in from connector. He might have, the teammate might have heard someone tapping the bomb, but that was a fake tap, so no one was actually defusing. And if you call that out, said I heard them tap and I died, you don't know if someone's still defusing, so maybe he had to go check. That definitely was a little bit rough. Dan King running towards the A ramp. I really love that play. Just sometimes you can get there fast enough. You can catch them jumping past. It's so frustrating if you're on the CT side.
Oh, that's a skin and a half. Got Titan stickers on there.
Is it are they the hollow ones? Are they worth a lot?
Let's go.
I believe somewhere in the workshop those are costly.
Yes.
4-1 in favor of TYLOO, and again back to that very sort of slow and measured style. I'd be interested to see if Sharks are going to try and disrupt this at any point, because obviously if you just let them do these executes, that's how they want to play the game, right? They love this. This time it's a bit quicker though, above the minute mark. Sevi started to fall just a bit back behind the smoke and looking for an opening, but not getting one just yet. Another setter for at least flashbangs ringing into the A-bomb site in the middle. This is the other side of it, right? From TYLOO, they're just waiting. Attacker picking up 2 big kills, but yeah, they probed a bit. They got a response, and they handled that just fine. Now they're 5-on-3. Well, 5-on-4, or 3-on-4. I said it a little bit too early.
An Attacker, he's done his job. He got the info, figured out where the op is. You have somebody who's in a position ready for the rotation as well. So he's going to have heard one go by. Oh, just barely misses out. And with the vent not shot through, oh, that's really going to make it difficult for him to get an effective flank. He just has to sit here and wait and hope that somebody's going to give him a shot. Or they decide to rotate A.
Yeah, instead of doing that, instead of walking into the AWP, they want to try and see if they could turn it around now. JNT is going to be put to the test out here. M4A4, a rare sighting these days, but he catches the perfect timing, dropping the bomb. 7 seconds on the clock. If he gets this kill, it is over with. It might be anyway. They cannot plant the bomb any longer. They could try, but it's going to be too late. Nice shot there. Oh,
no, what? They won!
Why did he peek? Oh, no! That round is over and done with. And they peeked into it. Oh, that is heartbreaking.
2 seconds, 1 second, not even. Oh, and Sharks call a timeout. That hurt so bad that they had to call a timeout to take a breather, and they have to walk it off.
I can't really blame them. And here's the problem, right? That's the moment where communication is everything on a team, because we don't really know if Sevi was told by his teammates, they're planting the bomb, they're planting the, you know, it could have just as well been that someone thought, oh no, they actually were planting, you know, they have it. So then you probably should be peeking, because then you're peeking into, you know, one guy covering, one guy planting. You can probably spray them both down if you're in a good position there. That was essentially a 1 round by Sharks, and now instead it's TYLOO on a 5-1 lead.
That one stings.
Oh, that is rough. I was in the middle of calling that round over and done with.
Yeah, and done. Just, you know, TYLOO kind of getting, you know, ahead of themselves, trying to get clever based off the information that they picked up from their lurker, and that ended up costing them in a big way. And yet Sharks, here we go. Oh, somebody spotted him close. He knows somebody is here. Gonna try and play it. Yep.
I mean, in terms of the defensive setup, that call from TYLOO is actually really good. They just didn't have that much time, but they were right about the 2-to-1 split there. So they had the right idea. By the way, Attacker is 12-2 right now, so he is playing out of his mind. If this keeps up, I don't know. This is too much. It surely can't. There's no way that he can keep playing at this high of a level. Basically averaging 2 kills per round in the first 6 rounds here. That's too much, and Sharks will have to find a way to slow that down.
With a name like Attacker, you would hope that he's going to be able to live up to it at some point.
Yeah, it's working out right now.
Well, this is definitely a team where TYLOO should not be giving any respect to Sharks. Sharks are definitely an underdog in this tournament, and TYLOO, same thing. It's just they should be feeling pretty confident about this. Realsin going to get that smoke down in time, trying to create a little bit of room to work with here.
I actually love this. Very aggressive suddenly from TYLOO. Very quick to get in now. They're going to slow it down again in the middle of it. This is so rare. Normally, if you've already played your hand here, if you're already showing that you're in the bomb site, you're just going to keep going. But they wait just long enough, and then they take a second round of fights and win every single one of them. 3 kills going the way of TYLOO. Again, it's just a little bit unusual having that break in the middle of that kind of a play. But it seems to be, it's offsetting Sharks or making them just nervous enough that it's somehow working for TYLOO. 6-1 in their favor.
What a cool strat as well. You could see that they thought that out. This is what I was wondering, right? If you're not going to get to go against the scrims, if you're not going to be able to just scrim against the best every day, you're going to start trying to think about how to pull a fast one on them. If you can have a full execute where you're just running something that you could have run 100 times in the scrim and you know exactly what you need to be doing at each given moment. I mean, that all looked so clean from TYLOO, including the flash that pops in window like that to blind the guys holding from kitchen. I mean, or from market, right? Like, that's just such a clean execute from TYLOO. And well, if they have all of their nades and they have the map control, I mean, I guess that's what we can expect from them. They'll have put in the work to have a few rounds like that they can rely on.
True. And, map control is key because you could tell
he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, and well, as soon as they checked the ladder room and they found no one, and they saw that the window was still smoked up, they went. They immediately knew, all right, we got 3 people on catwalk, 2 people in the B apps, let's go.
But it was Realsin as well. They molly truck, they molly bench. You see him. He was just like, where do I go? I want to go truck. Nope, there's flames. I want to go bench. Nope, there's flames. Like, he's just got nowhere to go. So sick.
Dan King probably could have had that killed. He had the right idea. He was boosted on top of a teammate. I don't know if JNT knows how close he was to dying there. A bit scary. But again, we're back to the same sort of slowly walking, looking for the opening fights. Mikauzi, he's going to be able to get a kill with the FAMAS there. Good peek.
Again, so he's had some success. That's the second time he's managed to find some kills from that particular spot. So good on him. And a man advantage now for Sharks. And Sharks are going back to a tried and true setup for themselves as well. Holding aggro palace and, close to ramp. So they want to shut TYLOO down early here. As soon as they spot him, this is going to be a big swing from slowly, but something gives it away. JNT decides to smoke off ramp instead.
Yeah, they have another smoke on Pank, who's right behind him, so they could just smoke it up again, and even a Molotov back here. Actually, they have 2 more smokes in the bomb site, so they can probably keep this smoked off for the rest of the round, or Molotov if they really want to keep going with it. TYLOO, they're going to be waiting a long time, and if they're already prone to waiting, this could be one of those rounds where the timer just works too heavily against them. You could see now, there's another smoke being dropped down, and now they're realizing, yep, we have to go through. There's no other way around, and they just walk into a wall of M4s on the other side, getting absolutely shut down. So, great use of utility here for Sharks. Having that many nades left, they could have kept that grenaded for the rest of the round.
And it's such a hard fight to take when the guy, he's close, but he also knows that that he knows.
Yeah.
That that he's close.
Exactly.
And so he's playing anti-flash turned away the whole time. So how do you actually flash that guy so that you can actually take the fight and clear him out? Because he knows that that he knows.
Exactly.
So
there's a flowchart to try and figure this out for the, multi-page one. But what if they know that we know that they know?
Oh, yeah, this is the round before that was so clean on the B site.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I just still think it's fascinating to see, but this is finally a round where it actually works out for Sharks, and man, did they need it.
Are you kidding me? So he eats that flash and still gets the shot. The shot. That's crazy.
It's good stuff, isn't it? 6-2. Sharks find a second round finally. It's about time. Yeah. And they really need to establish themselves a bit more. Still feels like TYLOO are getting away with having so much of the map control, although they lost it in the last round. Attacker kind of went down in the middle. And that set it up nicely.
Maybe that's what we can expect more of in the future. If you take attacker out, you know, that raid boss, then the rest of the team will struggle to have the firepower necessary, although we will get the run boost here. Slowly, once again, not living up to his name, just gets yeeted across.
He's
playing
very
opposites. Slow. Yeah. Plays the Mac 10, goes for run boosts. He is pretty quick, in fact, although we do get the aggression here from Sharks. Are they going to actually push ramp, or are they just going to try and play this passively? Yeah, so they've pushed ramp for info, see nobody here, and yet they are still keeping Zevi behind.
Giving them all the mid control once again, though, TYLOO. It's very often so far in this half that they've been able to have this part of the map. Zevi? Surely, yeah, he can't really see underneath that. Got to be careful about that window. We might see a boost come in. It looks like they will be throwing somebody into the window. 50 seconds on the clock now. And that A bomb site, I don't know. The two B players are now on the catwalk. They're actually crunching them in the middle. This could be huge. Sharks, instead of just waiting around for TYLOO to do something, it looks like they're actually taking a lot of initiative in this round. That bomb, it's going to be hard running up the stairs. Ooh, missed opportunity for Sevi, but they still have to get the bomb in there, and that's the problem. Lucas is going to be shooting them in the back. Summer with an, I think, inadvertent jump there, and he goes down. So good, good little stuff there. Good. I love the fact that they pushed out of the B bomb site. It's a risk, but I think that almost won them the round no matter what. There.
We've all been there, Anders.
Oh, the jump.
Yeah, the guy. You know, it's just you're wired tight. You're just trying to hit that shot, and you hit your space or your scroll wheel or whatever, and freak out.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling. Space. Jumping on space.
Jumping on space bar. Well, I'm just saying, you know, a lot of people jump on space bar. I jump on right click. And although I have moved over to the scroll wheel now.
I've got scroll wheel and right click.
See, that's the way.
Doubling down on that jump.
That's the master. Yeah. That's the way.
Do a lot of people really jump on space?
I'm assuming, because it's default, right? So I'm assuming that's just the way it is.
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Quick turn of pace here.
Oh, that is a good kill on somebody. That is so important. He was trying to clean the way. I think he's been spotted. How is he not being seen from that AWP up there? I feel like he would have had the look. Yeah, there it is. Nearly takes him down, but it's probably a bit too late now. Good headshot from Attacker. He wants more, but Sevi will be there covering the line and not allowing him to swing on his teammate. That's important. Now it's Dan King on his own. 1 versus 4 up here. And Sharks looking to take a 4th round. I mean, it's kind of still impressive that TYLOO are up to 6, but at least Sharks are starting to wake up a little bit in this game.
Yeah, they're starting to actually get their feet under them here. They're starting to hit some shots, and they're, like you said, you pointed it out, they're playing a bit more aggressively. They're trying to take some more duels here. But that was, again, TYLOO just trying to go for this execute style onto the B site, only that Sharks were ready for it. They hit all the initial shots, and that's the issue. If TYLOO, you can't find that opening kill to start things off. I mean, there's only so much Attacker can do on his own. He got 1 kill, but, again, it's not like he can 1v5 Sharks every round. So he's up to 14 kills total now. We will get the lineup. And it's looking like it's going to be a quick A execute. There are 2 players close, 3 for Sharks.
Yeah, but they're gonna get smoked out. So if they make a mistake here, especially if they try too much to get back in the bomb site,